Okay, so I thought it might be easier to just kind of make a video on like why this is so bad. It's not that it doesn't technically do what it says it will do, but it does it in the worst possible way. Like, for instance, this little piece right here is supposed to keep the paper in alignment, but it's very loose, so it's very easy to not keep the paper straight when you're putting it in there. It advertises that it can punch 12 sheets, so this is 12 sheets of just like normal printer paper. But when you put it in there, first of all, getting it lined up is a pain. When you get it in there, and this is at the deepest margin, like, really gotta work it to get the thing to cut. And I don't really think I would say that that's 12, that it can do 12 sheets if you have to do it that hard. Like, the thing's gonna break if you do that very often. Not to mention it's just super hard. I wouldn't consider it to be advertised for 12 sheets unless you could pull the lever down in one go and do 12 sheets. But that's what it looks like. This is at the deepest margin, to be clear. It does not come on the deepest margin as a default, which I would recommend changing, because if you try to do it as less than that, your work will just fall apart. You can set that. There's a switch on the back that lets you adjust the page margin depth. So these are what comes with it. You get like 100 of these. I will say, this is just me nitpicking. They are very small. I don't really know a lot of situations where you would need to bind this few pieces of paper. It almost seems like it would have been better to have sent like 50 larger ones as opposed to 100 of these, because these make very small booklets. But, you know, put it in its little thing. I put it in upside down. This is me not having used one of these in a long time, not the machine itself. They're all kind of finicky getting them to open these up. Okay. So now we'll go ahead and put the pages on there. So, I mean, technically it does work, and you can trim these at the top and bottom, so like that's not really a huge issue, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like, I get that it's a really cheap model, but I mean, it's still like 40 bucks, and like a nicer one is like 100. And like, I didn't expect it to be great, but like, it's pretty bad. So I don't know. Honestly, I'm debating whether or not I want to keep it. I mean, like I said, it does technically work. Like, it did work, but you know, I guess it really depends on how often you need to bind something. Like, here's a sheet of the plastic. So like, it can cut through that stuff. And some people complain that it doesn't cut properly, but I will say there's like a lip in there. If you don't get it in there just right, you'll miss the blade. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I guess if you really only need to bind like, you know, a few things, and you don't want to pay for a more expensive one, I guess that's worth it. But also at a certain point, you could just pay to get the books bound through a service if you really only have a few things to bind. I'm kind of debating. I guess I'm probably going to keep it because it does technically do what it says it will do, barely. But honestly, if I find like an older one at like a thrift store or something, I think I would rather have that, because it really, I think my biggest gripe is just, it advertises that it can do 12 pages, but it does not cut 12 pages at a time. That's ridiculous. And if you do get it jammed, then, I mean, it ruins whatever you were working on, because this thing gets stuck up in there and you can't get the blade out without tearing the paper. So, I don't know. I'm just saying, I guess you get what you pay for, so just maybe consider getting a little bit nicer model.
So I decided that I wanted to do a video because a lot of people will never get to see what we have to deal with. So this paper is supposed to be punched, right? So I'm scrolling so that I can get the letter size, and it's all the way in. There's no more. Handles all the way back. And when I come down, to my surprise, there's nothing. I've looked in every way you can think of. I know for a fact I'm not doing this wrong. This machine is just a bunch of garbage. Don't waste your money or your time, people. This is why they're $40.
Trying to put this in letter size, but you go in, there's a stop in here so you can see the paper doesn't get flush. So I have to push it all the way back and then slide it over, and that's as far as it'll go. Won't do a full 8.5 by 11 sheet.